Okay, so real quick, I just had to make a short video on the campaign, the last campaign I did the night prior. I just woke up and got myself some something to eat and came back, and I'm like, I gotta tell this fucking story. Recently, we've been running a campaign that's being DM'd by my buddy Terry, and it's me, Terry, Duncan, and David. And we've been playing with these characters for quite a while. It's one of those things where the characters, like how like sometimes in D&D you'll do a couple of one shots, or you'll do a couple of connected adventures with a certain character, but they don't really have like the main kind of draw to like really be those characters that stick with you through a long spanning really involved campaign. You have those particular characters that you just need to keep playing with, that you're really invested in, those kinds of characters you think are going to make it to, like, the teens to have a shot at like being level 20 characters, right? And it's honestly seeming like that thus far. I mean, we're only level 5 right now, but we've been going at it real hard, and we're almost level 6. And I don't know. It's just we've put a lot more investment into these characters than most, and the last characters that we had, the last character that I really stuck with for a long time was my dwarven cleric Tumless, and he's like level 16 right now. And every once in a while, we're feeling the need to play, something involving those characters. I'll be like, yeah, sure, why not, and I can use him. But the level of involvement, um, it kind of feels the same, you know, as the level, as to the level of involvement. I'm mismatching words here, but as to the level of involvement that was involved with taking a character farther than the norm. And so we've just been, I guess, to sum it up, we've just been going really, like, hardcore into this particular campaign, this long sprawling campaign. And so in this long sprawling campaign, we've had these, like, side quests that we've done while roaming the landscape of our homebrew. And Duncan is playing a dwarven bard by the name of Manny. David's playing a orc barbarian by the name of Borgneir. And I'm playing a tiefling ranger by the name of Kinder. And hang on. Sorry. My some of my papers were just about to fall down off my coffee table. So we've been running with these guys for quite a while, doing side quests and stuff, and so we're in the midst of doing this side quest in order to help Borgneir out with his little problem, because recently he's been getting fucked up pretty often, right? And even though we managed to get to him and heal him and shit, right? He's still that front lines guy. He's still, the barbarian, right? And he gets really fucked up. And recently we had a boss fight with a gelatinous ooze creature. That's it's called a black pudding, and basically what it is like, if you recall the episode where Tasha Yar dies in like season 1 of TNG, I think, right? To the big black tar monster blob thing. Those are what black puddings are, basically. And we had a fight with one of those, and he almost died. Okay, he got fucked up. And we managed to save him and stuff, but because he'd been getting fucked up, a lot lately, he started developing more serious problems, and he developed this heart condition, where, basically where, he had to go and find a healer, like a more, in-depth healer, because it got to the point where he couldn't get, too worked up. He couldn't, he couldn't overstrain himself in any capacity. He couldn't raise his blood pressure, and that's a huge problem for Borgneir because one, he's the barbarian and he needs to rage out to do what he does, and two, well, he likes the ladies. We can't blame him. But I don't know, one of these days he's gonna get trapped by a succubus or something. I just know it. So he decides he's going to go to a sexual healer, a mystic of the sexual arts, in order to help the blood flow, right? And when we get to this town where this lady is, they're like, well, she doesn't appear on the nights of a hunter moon, and they point up and it's hunter moon. She stays in and she requests never to be disturbed. And Borgneir, being the orc barbarian he is, doesn't accept that as an answer, right? And so he goes and goes up to her house, and there's a huge flash of light, and you hear her screaming, and he's like, God damn it, of course. It had to be something. And he goes and he busts her front door down because he's under the impression she's in trouble. And it turns out she's nowhere in sight, but in her study room, there's a hatch that leads down into what appears to be some kind of mini dungeon. And clearly it is, because that's a part of the adventure we're doing today, that Terry has planned for us. And it's here we go, And so we get down in there, and I'm not too sure how much time I have left in this video, so I think I'm just gonna cut it short and go through the rest of the story in a two-parter. But needless to say, we get down in there in order to basically find this woman, because we're under the impression that she's had protection magic circles around this hatch in her room. So we're under the impression that something broke through her mystic protection barrier while she was performing some sort of routine ritual during the Hunter's Moon involving this hatch, and just something got the better of her and drug her down in there. And